I've been a designer for almost half my life now, about 15, 16 years, and I've made some classic designer mistakes since I started. I spelled girls wrong on thousands and thousands of pounds worth of print. I spelled it grills, so the client wasn't particularly happy when we had to recall it all back. Doing web stuff now, it's easy, you can quickly change it, but back in the day when I started and it was all printed, it wasn't quite as easy to change. I put perforations where there's meant to be creases and spent weeks and every night stapling back together 2 bits of paper to appease an angry client. And I've done what every designer's probably done. You really want to work for a brand, so you say, yeah, I'll do loads of work, not a problem, don't worry about a contract, don't worry about a deposit, I'll just do it. And then they decide to change their minds, not do the project, and you're stuffed with no money and 2 weeks worth of work done. But my biggest failure probably came this year, or my biggest learning opportunity, was when I closed my first design agency down after 4 years of trading. I put everything into it, so it was me from just, little me in the spare bedroom up to, not massive, just 4 or 5 of us in a nice studio. But after 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of money, thanks Mum and Dad for that, and it wasn't a particularly appealing idea to close it. It was the last thing I wanted to do, but I just made a very cold, hard business decision that if it hadn't grown to a certain point, grown to a certain size by a certain point in time, that I would just call it a day and try something new. And closing it actually gave me quite an overwhelming sense of clarity, which I didn't expect at all. I thought I'd be really emotional and crying into a bottle of vodka somewhere, but it turned out it was probably one of the best things I've ever done. And but during the course of running that business, I did some fantastic mistakes. It's always nice to look back on them. I, for a very long time, didn't like these things, suits. I'm not a salesman, I'm a designer. I'm not here to sell, I'm just here to talk about design. I'm just here talking about the thing that I love. And you hear a lot of people talk about business, and they say that you should spend more time working on the business and not in it, getting yourself away from the daily production of whatever it is you're doing or selling. And that took me a very, very long time to accept. I didn't want to get off the Mac. It was quite a naive approach for me anyway, because I think there are design doers and there are design communicators, and I'm a far, far better design communicator than I am a design doer. And I now leave all that in our new business to people far greater than me. So I think it was one of the most valuable lessons I learned moving on to the new business was that just step back from it and let other people do it. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to grow. And this is just for me. It might be different for other people, but I think that I held back the previous business quite a lot because I wouldn't let go of that control and I wouldn't get off the Mac and get out there and sell what we were trying to do. And that relates to this very much so, is hiding in the business. When you're quiet, it's far, far more appealing to hide and play in the studio and come up with some cool new idea of something else that you could sell, rather than going out and selling what you've already got, because surely that's much quicker. Well, we already can design this, that, and the other, so go out and sell it. Don't hide in the business coming up with new ideas of something else that you could create and sell, which for a creative is far, far more appealing than going out there and trying to pick up the phones and do the hard sell. And one of the other failings that I particularly hold my hands up to was failing to communicate our process. I've lost pitches, I know, from not communicating this well enough. And if we're in the business of communicating and selling communication, if we can't explain what we do, who we do it for, how we do it, what hope in hell have we got of them buying it from us? They're not. If we can't explain what we're doing, then they're not going to trust us to explain what they do. And I think that's a really, really valuable lesson that I learned. And I know we win pitches off the fact that we do sell it very well now and explain it incredibly well. But it's also come kind of like a little byproduct of that failure, is something that we do for our clients, is that we'll help them work out their process, and we'll help them, that's something valuable that we can tangibly wrap up and sell to the clients. So it's not just something that we've got better at selling it, but it's actually become a little product that we can sell. But the most valuable lesson I've learned, I suppose, failure is the other half of success. It's impossible to get away from it. It's inevitable. But it's trying to work out how we get the value out of it. And that's for me, has been the most tricky thing. And I think I'm trying at the moment anyway to take 2 different mindset approaches. So approach failure like a creative would do. Try stuff, break stuff, flip it upside down, turn it inside out, work out 101 different ways to do something within your business. a bit like a designer would do when they're designing a logo, is you'll do 200 different versions of that logo until you work out which one works the best. And all those other failures, the ones that don't look right, have helped you get to that position. So that's how we tend to approach things within the business and working out the best way to do stuff, but then handle all those failures like a non-creative. So don't get emotional about it and don't get upset that it's not the best idea you've ever had, and just deploy it into the business so that you can get the value out of that failure and hopefully learn and grow from those failures. That's it.